I'm going to show you a journaling technique that I found to help me immensely. By the title of this video, you're probably quite curious as to why you want to click on this to discover more. You know, what am I going to say that's probably different from any other YouTube video that's ever made? Just watch and you'll find out. The journaling technique I'm going to show you is a technique which I've recently been doing. I haven't been doing it for a long time. Just disclaimer, I've been doing it for about 2 weeks. But I've seen just a lot of personal development, personal growth from doing this regularly. Quickly, just to let you know, I have journaled before. I've watched tons and tons of videos on journaling on YouTube and stuff. And you know, the problem with me is that I never stayed really consistent with journaling, and I think it is a skill that you have to be consistent with. The thing is, I've not been always consistent. Sometimes I'd start, I'd stop, and start and stop, as we all. But this technique, which I'm about to show you, you don't really need to be consistent with it. You don't have to do it every day. You don't even need to do it every week or even every month. It happens when you want to do it, and it's so powerful. Now, let me explain. This is not a method where you just pick up a book, you start writing your thoughts, whatever comes to mind, you're kind of brain spilling. That's a good technique. I'm not discrediting any other techniques out there at all. But this one particularly allows you to really internalize your thoughts first, and then get to the root of the deep questions that you want answering, and eventually overcome those and answer them, which allows you to then grow as a person. Let me explain. You're probably new to my YouTube channel, you probably clicked on this video, this might be the first video you're watching. If you've already been watching my videos, however, you would know that at the moment I'm trying to basically come up with ideas and venture into creating my own business. That's my kind of dream, that's my kind of goal. I've not done that yet, but that's one avenue what I want to take my life in. And I'm really into personal development and improving myself. And this includes whether that be through fitness, whether that be through relationships and friendships, family, whether that be through my business adventures, my business goals, whether that be my passions, my side hobbies, YouTube, for example. So the technique is this. It's very simple. Get yourself some of these books, right? It can literally be any notebook you want. Go to your local store, your supermarket, whatever. Go on Amazon, just buy one of these. They're not expensive. Honestly, get the most basic books, right? And keep them. Get as many as you can, okay? And then categorize your goals. So categorize your, I call them pillars. So like I just mentioned, relationship is one pillar. That's one area that I want to focus on and I want to grow and I want to develop myself, right? I'd also put one pillar as fitness, right? I want to be able to be, lean. I want to be able to have a sick physique. I'm trying to develop that. Have a book for that. Have a book for your business adventures. Like, I really want to start business. So this one I brought with me right here. It's my book just for business, like wanting to learn how to find an idea, how to make a business from literally about zero experience. And then have one in general as your personal development book. These are things that are basically very personal to you. So for example, let's say confidence. You want to increase your confidence and you feel like your confidence isn't quite there. Go deep into that, and these are the kind of things. I'm just using confidence as an example. It could be anything. It could be the way you walk, the way you speak, the way you are around other people. Are you awkward? Are you shy? Are you super flamboyant? Like, whatever it is, it's personal. So keep one book for just you and yourself. All right. Once you identify a book, I'm going to use this one as an example. This is my business book, right? This is the one I carry around me all the time because it's the thoughts I think about the most, really. I know it's kind of sad if you think about it, but the aim here is to basically, once you've opened your page, you have to write down all the questions and be extremely honest with yourself. Now, this is the most important thing. Be extremely honest. Write down every single question you have at that present moment in time. All right, put the date and put all the questions. Okay, so at the moment, I have 3 questions for me. I was on the flight. I'm actually in Mallorca right now, but I was on the flight and it's 2 hours to get here. And I was just really thinking about these are questions I haven't just randomly thought about. They're questions that have been on my mind for the last couple of weeks, even months, but I really want answering. One of the things is, how do I balance my time between having a 9-to-5 job, my life, starting a business, and any other goals. How do I basically manage my workflow in order for me to be successful, whatever. Another big question is, should I choose my passion, or should I just start solving people's problems to start a business? I don't really know where to strike the balance or which one to go with. That's one other big question. Another big question would just be lack of self-belief to begin with. So because I've never started a business, because I've never been around people necessarily like hands-on that have started businesses, where is that confidence going to come from? All right, where am I going to be like, a month into my business? I believe in myself. Lack of self-belief is crucial, and if I have zero lack of self-belief, how do I start generating that, and how do I, make sure I don't quit down the line? Those are three questions that at this present moment in time, I'm thinking about quite literally a lot. Okay, and low key, not even low key actually, high key, it's preventing me from starting, because my brain is coming up, your brain will come up with loads of feedback for yourself, and most of the time it will be negative for you to do something that's scary, for me to like just go into starting a business when it's high risk, high reward as well. But there's naturally going to be loads of questions. So use this book as a way to write down those questions, right? That's step one. Step two is this. Once you've identified the questions, this is all up to you. Every single resource that you have, pull it together and find the answers. Because I promise you, there are answers to these questions, because number one, someone's already thought about these questions, right? Somebody's already gone through those questions, and somebody's always overcome them, right? And because of that, you can learn from other people. So number one is try and find every single resource. Now, we live in a world where we have access to the internet, and it's actually incredible. If you have access to the internet, I mean, you're watching this video right now, you're in a powerful place, because the thing is, right, there's number one, a mass amount of information, right? Some extremely beneficial information for yourself and for your journey, but there's also a lot of distractions. So be honest with yourself. Are you being distracted from social media? Right? Are you scrolling a lot? Are you on TikTok? Are you mindlessly scrolling? Are you getting notifications left, right, and center, and kind of diverting your attention away from your kind of desires, your dream goals, whatever aspirations? So that's like one thing you have to be extremely honest with, because there are so many distractions, and in order for you to do well, especially in answering these questions, you have to put the time, energy, and effort into this, because ultimately only you can make that transition. Only you have the power to do that. So identify that. I personally deleted social media just because of this reason, just to get rid of distractions and everything. And that's really helped me a lot. You don't have to go to that extreme, but you just be aware of it, right? That's one thing. Now, with the access to the internet, you've got access to different people's opinions, different life takes, different experiences. Watch YouTube videos to do with this question. Read up about this kind of stuff. Read books of people who are in this kind of, talking about this kind of domain, talking about this topic, and have overcome this. Speak to people in real life that you potentially might know, not necessarily have overcome that experience, but could refer you to someone else who has. Right? Try and network and connect, right? Read upon blog posts, Google research, ChatGPT. There is tons of resources. And don't stick to one resource. Validate it. Keep finding the answer. It works, I promise you. One of the big questions that I had in January was, I want to start a business, but I don't know where to begin. That was a really big question, because in all honesty, I've started things and I've gone out of things very quickly. My recent thing was I started doing Etsy dropshipping. I didn't really know what I was going to do, and I didn't even put too much focus, attention, whatever. Ended up failing. Cool, move on. That was just me. Maybe I wasn't into it too much. Then I dedicated 3 months, the first 3 months of this year, to just solely answering that one question. Right? I literally wrote out that question, stuck it on my bedroom wall. I put it in my book, and I just went out and found and tried to find the answer. I was watching random YouTubers talking about the topic and of business. I wasn't necessarily going, to the goal. I wasn't going step by step to the goal, because it's never a straight line. It's never a linear path. You always have to go through different hurdles to get to the answer. That's what I found. And it was only one day, and this was last month, when I was on the treadmill. I jumped on the treadmill and a video popped up, and it was a podcast actually, right? It was a short clip, sorry. It was a short clip of Ali Abdaal talking to this guy about business, right? His name's Noah Kagan. He was talking to this guy, and the short clip kind of intrigued me because he was talking about exactly the question I'm currently facing. He was talking about how to start a business when you don't know where to start, right? What are the steps? How does it look like? And instantly I was just like, wow, this is exactly the kind of thing I want to answer. So then I clicked on the actual podcast, right? It's like an hour or an hour and a half, the podcast. I clicked on it. I was on the treadmill, and my session was only meant to be for about 40 minutes. I ended up staying on the treadmill for an hour and a half, finishing that podcast. Felt extremely, amazing because I literally got 70% of my question answered. And then most of it, I was so ecstatic. I literally bought the book from Noah Kagan straight away. Now, I'm not saying you should buy the book. I'm just saying, buy the book because I think it's really helpful if you're into that. But what I'm saying is, like, I looked through the short, I looked through the YouTube video. That's 2 forms of media. I then literally bought the book, and the book single-handedly answered the question without a shadow of a doubt. So it wasn't just like I just Googled it and then quickly found the answer. No, it was a process. It was a step-by-step process. It was a journey, and it worked. Now I feel confident about that question. It's completely understood. It's clear in my head. Now there's other questions that pop up, and you rinse and you repeat, you rinse and you repeat. And now you can start seeing the growth. Now this has only been about 3-4 months for me, but it's already helped so much. And I've dedicated like these books to kind of answering. So I've literally written it out and read the questions, and I've kind of journaled my thoughts. So I'm thinking, currently I'm feeling like I'm wasting the days and just thinking about wanting to start a business but not actually implementing it, blah, blah, blah. I keep writing every single thoughts as well. That's just an additional step you can do. Literally, once you've written the question, write notes. When you meet someone who can vaguely even give you some sort of insight into answering that question, write the notes down. Just keep building up that thing until you have an answer. That's it. It's that simple, and it honestly works. And I'm not making this video for views or anything like that, but if it does work, obviously just drop a like. That would be very helpful. But honestly, that is literally it. It's actually that simple. All you have to do is grab a couple of these books, write down the topic, whether that be your personal development, your still business or whatever, and then just write down all the key questions that you want answering. And also, like, sometimes you don't want to admit some of the questions, especially for the ones about your own personal development, because I know one of the things for me is like, how do I become less awkward when I meet new people, right? And I kind of don't like admitting to that to myself, because I don't know, like, I feel like I don't want to be seen, or I don't want to be awkward or whatever, so I just don't feel comfortable admitting that or writing it down. But actually taking full accountability and just writing down even the most brutal or the most weird to actually say out loud questions really helps. Like, genuinely does, because then you're forced to find answers, and it's in paper as well, and it kind of feels good as well when you write them down. And I would also say that this really works when you're very curious. Like, to be honest with you, journaling or whatever you do is a journey of self-discovery. It's a journey of self-analysis and personal development and growth. But that all stems from one thing: curiosity. You have to be fully curious about the things that you want to improve on, because that's the only way you see growth. So be curious. Ask yourself the questions, some of the hardest questions to ask. Ask yourself, write them down in a book, rinse and repeat. And trust me, if you do this process for 3 months, for 6 months, for 1 year, by the end of doing that, right, you will be a different person, and you'll thank yourself for asking the hard questions. Good luck.